Over the last 12 hours, Bitcoin has crashed massively. The market is down, everything is red, but stocks are still green. We're going to talk about why the market has crashed today, what triggered the crash, where we can go from here, and the real question is the bottom still in? Let's dive into it. Okay, MegaWhale team, welcome back to the channel, guys. Thanks for tuning into today's video. I hope you're all having a great day in this absolute bloodbath, whether you're shorting, whether you're out of the market, whatever it is, I hope you're doing great. Now, thankfully, we did not buy that one-day close above 20,800. If you remember, we were telling you guys, do not buy Bitcoin yet. Do not buy Bitcoin. Wait until we get a second two-day close above the 50 EMA on the two-day. And thankfully, that advice saved us from acquiring any more Bitcoin, and it prevented us from experiencing this negative crash that a lot of people did actually unfortunately jump into. Now, with that saying, guys, we did actually buy 18,000. We did say, you know, back over here on the 18th of June, $18,000, we're buying it. And we have seen a bit of a scam wick below that point again. You know, it came down, this black line represents the absolute bottom. We've come down and retested, or should I say scam wick below that. Now, a lot of people are asking, you know, well, is the bottom still in? What's happening here? What should I do? And I just want to go back to the short term really quickly. We'll come back to the larger time frame in a second. If you've been paying attention to the channel, more specifically, paying attention to these horizontal levels we've been talking about, you know, we talked about this yesterday. We said, if we lose this range here, we're collapsing into 19,800. 19,800 is the major trigger for a collapse back down to 18,800, which occurred. And if we do lose 18,400, we will see a retest of 17,600. Once again, the horizontal zones perfectly predicted this move. There is absolutely nothing we weren't prepared for. We were completely aware of what was going on, and we were prepared for it. We were understanding of how the price was moving, the zones we were moving through, what was triggering these moves from an internal perspective. Now, from an external perspective, there were a lot of news events that triggered this collapse, and we'll get into that later into the video, such as the FTT coin and FTX, of course, really shaking up the market, throwing some fear into the market, and triggering a lot of liquidations, all overall causing the market to crash. And, you know, quite odd because the DXY is actually moving down, so there's positive correlation right now. Stocks are moving up, cryptocurrency is getting wrecked. Quite an interesting time to be in the market right now, but we'll talk about it soon. Nevertheless, guys, 18K was the time we bought. But if you do remember, and maybe you haven't been following for as long, and I guess if you did buy 18K, you would have been following back then. We actually sold our entire bag on this 21% rally. Up around here, we sold this entire bag on a 21% rally and rebought equal amounts at 18,600, around this level over here, okay? So our break-even point on our long-term bag right now is around 14,600. It's around about this level over here, give or take a few hundred depending on exactly when your entries were in. So even if we do lose this 18,000 level or whatever it is, 17,600, technically we're still a profit. Technically we're okay. We really did secure our position. We set you guys up for our long-term position really well, with a lot of safety, a lot of buffering. We really protected your guys' capital there. Now the question is, what will happen on the macro if we do lose 17,600? So let's get into that really quickly. So we'll go back to our larger time frame chart, this one over here. And if we do lose 17,600, which I'm going to go ahead and draw this horizontal line down to, this point over here, the next horizontal support level is at around 11 to 13,000, okay? And this isn't a level that we've just picked out of the sky. This isn't a level that we've just come to today. We have been talking about this potential crash down to this level if that level, that absolute bottom was lost for a very long time before many people were even thinking about this price point. It was way back over here, guys, we were talking about this level. I can actually show you that right now. We go to my trading view, and I don't recommend following me in here because I just do not use trading view. There's no point. But if you do, if you're on trading view, whatever, you know, back in April, we were talking about, you know, the potential bear flag drop down to about 13,000. So this level has always been in the back of our mind. We did look to buy 18K. We made some nice profits. We sold 21% profit. We rebought 14,600 break even. We're still above that. It is looking okay. And technically, guys, the bottom is still technically in, okay? Unless we close a weekly candle below this horizontal level, then we expect a continuation potentially downwards. And it's very hard to say how low we'll go in terms of where we'll find support. It's very hard to say, are we going to come down here and find support? Maybe we'll find a new support along the way. We have to take it by play, day by day. But more likely, if we do lose this level, we'll be expecting some degree of a move down to 13 to 11,000. The reason being, guys, is with our VRPV. If we go ahead and bring it up on this chart, sorry, I might not actually work on this chart. It's a split chart. What I might do is jump over to this chart and just zoom out. We can see on the VRPV, we do have a pretty big gap over here in the market, okay? So it's not as big as what we'd see in this range over here, but we can see immediately under about 18,000, we do have this valley in the VRPV, and our next higher volume trading range is around $12,000, okay? So we put that level smack bang in the middle, $11,000 to $12,000, and that's how we came up with that one. So do I think it's gonna happen? Very hard to say. I don't think it's gonna happen. I still believe we will hold that weekly above the 18,000 level. If we don't hold the weekly above the 18,000 level, I will be selling about 50% of my holdings, but so it's still a profit, and leaving the remainder at 14,600 break even and looking to acquire lower. So we got that out of the way. Let's take a look at the overall markets. Obviously, Bitcoin's turned negative for a month. Again, negative 9.51 at the moment, not looking too good, and volatility hasn't really moved too much on the 30-day period. And of course, we've been warning everyone for a long time, volatility is very low. When we get these spikes, we're going to see a big move coming. We saw that. And of course, liquidations are nearly over $1 billion, absolutely insane. A lot of money liquidated for Bitcoin. A lot of money liquidated from FTT, of course, with that collapse going on. It dropped from like $22 to $5, which is insane. But yeah, the market is looking in shambles. At least the cryptocurrency market is looking like it's in shambles. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of our market, and then we'll come back to cryptocurrency and do our analysis, do our technicals, talk about everything else, because this is really interesting, guys. The DXY has been falling, and the DXY actually just found support where we said it would at around 110. So we found a support in its 110 to 109 zone, right at that major horizontal level. Remember, this is the major horizontal level we need to hold above. The DXY drops below here, we should see markets rally. We're talking, you know, rally past these major resistances. Looking at the Dow Jones, we actually did see a break above this level. We talked about this yesterday. We said major support here. If we push upwards, we're going to need to see a break above $33,000, and that will confirm, or at least show us some bullish pressure, some strength for a higher continuation. We've created this higher high. We've pushed over this local high. You know, we're pushing upwards here. We could definitely target 34,000. Very, very good. It's looking good. S&P 500 looking okay still. We're still in this major resistance zone. This gray box, of course, is a resistance zone. We will need to break through this resistance zone to see any kind of move upwards. And of course, the DXY potentially finding support here. There's a chance those markets start to pull back. Here is a dangerous thing, guys. The cryptocurrency market collapsed, okay? At the same time, the DXY went down, meaning money was flowing into assets and out of cash as cryptocurrency is falling. So now if the DXY starts to rise and find support here and the traditional markets come down, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency market should theoretically also come down more. So we have CPI and midterms coming up, like we said, which could throw an absolute spanner in the works. We'll talk about that one in a second. But that's very important to note, guys, that we are at support here. The DXY starts to rise. Theoretically, cryptocurrency should continue to fall, and we could see a further drawdown for crypto. Bond yields looking okay, of course, come down a little bit to find major support. Be very interesting to see how those play out. But as you can see, guys, the overall market is actually looking decent. If we look at stocks, they are looking strong. So like I said, Dow Jones is looking really good. S&P 500 is looking here and there. It's looking okay. But cryptocurrency, on the other hand, is looking brutal. It's looking absolutely brutal, absolutely insane. But let's go back to this chart and we'll get into everything else in a second. I do think the ideal time to be taking entries would be around this level. So if you're talking about short-term swings, I'm not talking about macro positions. I'm not talking about loading up Bitcoin for long-term, okay? I've been saying for a very long time, this was the safest place to buy it, okay? The next safest place to buy it will come at around 24,000. I don't think right now it's safe to buy it. We're too far along this descending triangle. We have too much economic news coming out soon that could potentially throw the price. I don't think now's a safe time to buy it. In terms of risk return, if you're looking at the total cryptocurrency market cap, it is more likely that we do find support over here then we drop down in terms of if we're looking at support resistance zones. Of course, once this zone is lost to support, it is now major resistance. We expect a continuation downwards. Now, if we do continue downwards here on the total crypto market cap, altcoins will get absolutely hammered. They will get absolutely demolished. If we go ahead and zoom out, where could we potentially go on the market cap if this level is lost? Let's go ahead and take a look. We'll be looking for about 400 billion, okay? 400 billion would be the target. Bitcoin will be around 13,000 at that point, and altcoins will be absolutely hammered. So there is a potential we leg it down even further from here. Obviously, the macro charts are not looking good whatsoever right now. This is ascending triangle formation, so be very, very careful, okay? Looking for an honest, reliable, and accurate exchange that you can trust to trade on, go ahead and sign up to Bitget with the link down below and join myself and all of our other VIP members and other members who trade on Bitget daily. There's a whole range of benefits and features you can actually get by trading on Bitget. These include no government regulations, meaning you can sign up from anywhere in the world. There's no KYC, 0% trading fees on spot, massively reduced trading fees on futures. It's one of the lowest in the game. And most importantly, access to their protection fund. In case the exchange gets hacked, you can actually get reimbursed for your funds, so you can ensure your funds are safe. Now, most importantly, if you do sign up with the link down below, that first link, you'll get access to 2 additional features. These include access to a reward center where you can get up to $4,163 in rewards, and access to the MegaWhale exclusive referral link, bonus discounts. Every other month we do bonus campaigns. We get up to 10% off your trading fees, or even you get a percentage of your trading fees refunded to your account as USDT. Essentially, you get paid to be on the exchange. That's enough, guys. We'll get back into the video. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So obviously CPI is coming out very soon. This is in about 2 days time. We talked about this already. We do have the forecast around 8%, previous around 8.2. This is for our standard CPI, of course. And we do have our core CPI around 6.5 forecast and 6.6 previous. If it comes in at anything for both CPI and core CPI, if they come in at forecasted, above forecasted, bearish. If they come in above previous, ultra bearish. If they come in below forecasted, it's going to be bullish. We should see a bullish reaction. That goes for both CPI and core CPI. Simple as that, okay? In terms of midterm elections, guys, that is happening pretty soon. I think it's actually happening today. Maybe it would have already been done by the time you're watching this. Not sure when you watch this. Obviously in Australia, I don't really keep up to date with the exact timing of these elections. We've talked about this already in terms of what you should be doing. I don't think you should care too much. It's one of those situations where an election doesn't give us raw data like CPI. We can see the data. We know how the data influences a systematic risk. We know how that then influences asset prices. With elections, it's a little different. We can't really tell how it's going to have an impact. It's all speculative. So when it becomes so speculative, I like to just sit it out, watch it from the sidelines, and react to whatever occurs. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But nevertheless, guys, let me know down below who you think's going to win, or I don't even know. So let me know what you think's going to happen. Let me know if you think it's going to be positive or negative for the market. It'll be very interesting. I'm not too versed in American politics, particularly for elections and the presidential stuff. In terms of economic situation, I'm very, very aware of that. But in terms of the politics, I don't really keep up to date with it. So let me know down below what you think is going to happen. If it's going to be good or bad. It'll be very interesting to see what people think. Let's go back to Bitcoin though, because I guess this is why we're all here. Hey, we're wondering, on the short term, are we going to keep going down? What has actually happened here? And we do have to go back to our horizontal levels. And this is the key thing. These horizontal levels have, once again, guys, I've been telling everyone for weeks, and so many of you guys have charted this chart out and actually sent me screenshots saying, MegaWhale, I'll put these levels in, they've saved me. Like, I'm so happy to hear that you've been actually following these levels. And we wouldn't just say these are important levels for the sake of saying it. If you've been watching this channel since we started in November, if you've been following me for the 2 years prior, whatever it's been, you'd know we don't just say shit for the sake of it. The levels we tell you are incredibly important levels. They're very theoretical, they've been proven, they've been back tested, they have data to support. They're not just random numbers pulled out of the sky because we like where they sit. These are very important levels, and as you can see, these levels have actually helped us understand the price action so much in this chart. And yeah, guys, this has been a volatile break. It's been brutal, but again, these horizontal levels have explained it. They've explained it perfectly, okay? So the question is now, we've come down, we're retesting currently. We're going to ignore this, okay? We're just going to ignore that. We're going to look at where we are currently, okay? We are currently retesting 18,400. Now, what do we know about 18,400? We know 18,400 is one of two things. It's a major support level, okay? As we've seen before, a very, very strong support level, even here, okay? But very strong supports become very strong resistances, okay? It is also a strong trigger, and it's a strong trigger for a break down to the absolute low. The question is, guys, is this going to now find support? We did keep in mind retest 18,800, 18,700 get rejected on a small time frame, or are we going to continue upwards? So let's take a look. We're gonna have to go to a really small time frame to take a look at this, because you know, when it comes to technical indicators, after these explosive moves downwards, any explosive move really, you're looking at technical indicators, you're gonna miss it. Technical indicators are lagging, okay? They're based on lagging data. So during periods of immense volatility, you have delays in what the indicators are suggesting, the average price of those indicators, and the actual price action. So you can miss these reversal points pretty easily. But if you looked at this over here, 17,600 in a 30-minute chart, 15-minute chart, let's go 5-minute chart, 3-minute chart, 5-minute chart, even on the 5-minute chart, guys, we didn't actually close below. We held above that on the 5-minute chart. So the absolute bottom, yeah, could be considered a double bottom for now. It could be considered a double bottom for now. Now, I don't believe we'll double bottom. I've been saying this already. I don't believe we'll double bottom. I said, if we do retest this level again, I think we're going to be in trouble. I think we're going to be in trouble. And the reason being, of course, is the total cryptocurrency market cap suggesting potential breakdown. But more so than that, guys, it's the fact that we can't just keep pushing sideways in this range forever. We do have to make a directional move at some point. And if we go ahead and zoom out, we saw a huge fake out of this horizontal range here. This huge fake out at the top side, a rejection, a second rejection, you know, and now we're pushing down below. The question is this going to be a rejection again, or are we going to push up? Again, very hard to tell, guys, and I can tell you guys right now what I think, but I don't think it matters, because we do have CPI and midterms coming out very shortly, and we've been saying already, they can throw a spanner in the works. If CPI comes out bullish, this could revert. This could go back up. DXY could crash, markets could recover, okay? If CPI comes out bearish, well, we're not in a good spot. If CPI comes out bearish, we're really not in a good spot. We're not in a spot of which we could probably withstand some more negative economic news. Bitcoin doesn't really have much of a safety net anymore. We don't have any buffering points. We don't have a safety net. We've got one little small support below us. We're retesting a current major support. Until then, you know, we're up shit creek, really. So it's not looking too good, guys. Hold off on your long-term buys, okay? Hold off on your long-term buys. Now, you're probably thinking, buy with fear, sell with greed. This isn't the time to be greedy. This is not a type of fear that you want to be jumping into, particularly with two significant economic pieces of information coming out tomorrow or today. CPI and midterms. This is not what you want to be greedy on. This is a time to wait, be patient, jump in a second, okay? If this does bounce, you can jump in back higher up. It's not a big deal. If it does drop below, well, then you already know what to do. We already talked about that scenario. If you've been following for a very long time, 14,600 is our break even. If you haven't been, well, then just wait to see where you can look for entries, okay? Now, on the immediate short term, guys, on the immediate short term, let's take a look. So this is the chart over here. We can see a lot of sideways price action occurring right now. It does look a little volatile. There is some compression. We did actually compress up to this horizontal resistance range here. I would say we would need to see a break over this resistance range. This neckline, which I'm going to go ahead and draw out over here. This neckline, if the price can reclaim this neckline, we should see a push back up to 19,500. Until then, I think we go ahead and we head back down to 17,600 on the short term. I don't think we're looking particularly bullish here on the short term. Obviously broke down that small time frame pattern over here. We are potentially developing some sort of channel formation on the small time frame over here. That could potentially be bullish, but it's very hard to say right now. We don't have a lot of data for that, and it is a small time frame. So again, small time frame, we are expecting more negative selling pressure. We do expect to continue downwards because we are underneath this 18,400. But in saying that, until we break 17,600, we're not going to create any sort of major directional move. We're going to continue in this horizontal range. At the end of the day, guys, we are still in this horizontal range, and therefore these horizontal levels are still going to be the determining factors of where the price moves. Okay, I'm going to leave the video there. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you tomorrow.